Before we begin our Sunday service, I'd like to say thank you to all of you who participated a couple of weeks ago in the FAST Nehemiah rally. We really do accomplish a lot working together with the other congregations in FAST to bring more social justice to our St. Petersburg and Pinellas County communities. John and Pat, who put in lots of hours and effort into organizing us for the Nehemiah rally, would also like to say thank you and give us a brief update of the progress that we have made. John and Pat.
Hi, I'm John Motter.
And I'm Pat Fling.
And we are the two team leaders for our church's FAST ministry. FAST, which stands for Faith in Action for Strength Together, is a Pinellas County coalition of 45 faith communities working to create public policy change for social justice.
Thanks to everyone for making our FAST Nehemiah action on March 22nd so successful. Over 2,000 people participated in their cars or on Zoom in our first ever hybrid action.
Our UU St. Pete Network members did a great job recruiting people to attend the action. Through their efforts, 75 people attended on behalf of the congregation.
We want to give you a brief recap of what happened and what commitments were made by our public officials.
In criminal justice, Chief Holloway of the St. Petersburg Police Department, Kent Burke, the Clerk of Courts, and the Honorable Sarah Mola, Public Defender of the 6th Judicial Circuit Court, all agreed to work with us to identify specific ways to improve our county's pre-arrest diversion program. People who commit nonviolent misdemeanors can pay consequences and be given support without receiving lifelong arrest records.
In affordable housing, Commissioner Justice sent a written commitment to vote to fund affordable housing unit projects. Commissioner Eggers was present and committed to prioritize funding affordable housing projects. This is a recommitment to use the Pennies for Pinellas funding for housing for families of four making $56,000 or less, which is 80% of our area's median income.
Behavioral health, we celebrated nonprofit leaders Central Florida Behavioral Health Network and Suncoast Center for their hard work in developing single access point for mental health service called the Wellness Connection.
This collaboration established a central number 727-791-3131 that anyone can call to get an appointment for help with their mental health or addiction services. The Wellness Connection is a great start, but we know that in order to have one truly coordinated system, the county needs to be involved. After 3 years of efforts and small steps, we still have not reached a clear plan or timeline from the county administrator for developing a clear pathway.
The increases in drug overdoses and suicides proves just one thing: delay is deadly. We are therefore asking everyone to sign a letter to our county administrator to ask for a clear plan on how they are going to create a central pathway. The letter can be found on the link shown on your screen. We
made some huge steps forward on Monday, but we know our work isn't over yet. If you would like to get involved, let us know. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 25th Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. A UU congregation is a place for the appreciation of all souls, all ages, genders, loves, colors, abilities, educations, beliefs, questions, and hopes. We are a community devoted to spiritual growth and caring. And we seek to learn from all people, all peoples, and all life experience. So may we learn during this day and week, honoring creativity, Earth, DNA, lesbian visibility, Arbor Day, and May Day. If you are newish to us and would like to learn more about our tradition, please get in touch with me. There's contact information posted at the end of the service. Many thanks this morning to Kelly and Harmony and John and James for contributing to our service in word music, and production. And as always, special thanks to all of you who make us a blessed community. May our time together help us grow.
I'm Harmony Berg,
James Berg,
and Kelly DeGraw. We are your worship associates for today.
To begin our service, we light our chalice as a symbol of our search for truth and meaning, our shared communion, and our light of caring.
Join, if you will, in the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Our invocation is adapted from poet Emily Dickinson, who is said to have been greatly influenced by Unitarians and Transcendentalists of her time. May we dwell in possibility, a fairer's house than prose, more numerous of windows, superior for doors, of chambers, as the cedars, impregnable of eye, and for an everlasting roof, the gambrels of the sky. Our visitors, the fairest, for occupation, this, the spreading wide our narrow hands to gather paradise.
For the earth forever turning, for the skies, for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the world we raise our voices, for the home that gives us birth. In our joy we sing, returning home to our blue-green hills of earth.
I have a family story that I've adapted from the Bible story of Job, which you may read in full someday. In my version, though, a man named Job is complaining that life is not treating him well, and he blames it all on God. And that night he has a dream, or one night he has a dream, and the God of the universe comes to him and asks him a short list of questions. And to each one, Job finds he can only answer no, or no, sir, or no, ma'am. So God says, you kvetch. Kvetch means you complainer or whiner in God talk. You kvetch, do you know how the universe started and how big it shall be? No, said Job, I can't say that I do. Do you know from where the ocean springs and where its boundaries shall be? No, says Job. Do you know how to make light like the morning dawn and direct its path through the day? Do you know how to see the other side of death? Oh, no. Do you know how to direct the falling of rain and lightning? Do you know how to order and feed all the creatures of the earth, wild and tame? No, sir. No, ma'am. Do you know how to make the whales your servants? Do you know how to make the laws of nature just, for good and for wicked alike? So, said God, how is it you complain against me anytime things go wrong, Mr. Know-Nothing? And Job said, when you're right, you're right. I apologize. And God said in this dream, let it be. I can see that is good. And then suddenly Job raised a finger into the air and said, but you know, I can learn. And God said, so that is very good. It's the end of the story. So what would you say Job needed to learn? I hope you'll think about that. You can share in the comment column on the right of your screen any joy or concern that you might have this morning. Or you can share during our coffee hour, or you can share at both times. We also can share for you at this time during the service, if you will let me or our worship committee chair, Bill Motter, know of your joy or concern. One special joy we invite you to celebrate is sent by our Joyful UU's Helping People group, which facilitates the crew, spelled CRUU, the crew at our Friday night supper for the hungry and the homeless. The joy is this: Olivia and Amelia Scogna, whom you can see in this wonderful photo, I hope, and who are frequent volunteers for the Friday night picnic, recently raised $133 at their lemonade stand. And they are donating all of their proceeds to our meal sharing ministry for those people in need. Thank you, and much love to Olivia, Amelia, and to Mom Lindsay. Also, our continued love to Sue Price, and a grand thanks to the amazing trombonist colleagues of Roy, who, along with the sea and the wind and the gulls, played beautiful music to us in beloved memory of Roy. And lastly, with deep sadness, we announce the death of Eric Becker, age 35. Eric is the son of past UU St. Pete member Alan Becker. Alan's husband, UUSP member Rob Sanborn, reported that Eric died at home shortly after being discharged after weeks in hospital post very serious spinal surgery. Our thoughts and prayers to Alan and to Rob. For the sake of all who are under the strains of these difficult times, which strains often are taking unexpected twists and turns in our lives and our minds, may we take care of one another. Even in this morning's present moment of watching a computer screen, it would serve us well to take a long, slow breath, breathing in grace, the energy of the universe, and giving a long, slow outward breath of graciousness, that which makes it possible for us to live with comfort and joy. Be in touch if life is seeming too much, and keep reaching out to support one another. It makes all the difference.
This reading is drawn from A Brave and Startling Truth by Maya Angelou. We, this people, on a small and lonely planet traveling through casual space, past aloof stars, across the way of indifferent suns to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking, when we release our fingers from fists of hostility, and allow the pure air to cool our palms, when we come to it, then we will confess that not the pyramids with their stones set in mysterious perfection, nor the gardens of Babylon hanging as eternal beauty in our collective memory, not the Grand Canyon kindled into delicious color by western sunsets, nor the Danube flowing its blue soul into Europe, not the sacred peak of Mount Fuji stretching into the rising sun, neither Father Amazon nor Mother Mississippi, who, without favor, nurture all creatures in the depths and on the shores. These are not the only wonders of the world when we come to it. On this wayward, floating body created on this earth, of this earth, who have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear when we come to it. We must confess that we are the possible. We are the miraculous, the true wonder of this world. That is, when and only when we come to it.
Here's a little song to keep the spirit of Earth Day alive. From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of everyone. From a distance we all have enough, and no one is in need. There are no guns, no bombs, and no disease. There are no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance we are instruments, marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of everyone. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. From a distance you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance I cannot comprehend what all this fighting's for. From a distance there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the hope of hopes, it's the love of loves, it's the heart of everyone. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance.
The Pasture by Robert Frost. I'm going out to clean the pasture spring. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away, and wait to watch the water clear I may. I shan't be gone long if you come too. I'm going out to fetch the little calf that's standing by the mother, it's so young. It tars when she licks it with her tongue. I shan't be gone long, you come too.
This morning's sermon is entitled, You Come Too. A few months before the poet Robert Frost died at age 88, he addressed an auditorium full of students at Dartmouth College, and I was one of them. During the question-answer portion, a student asked whether he got the meaning correctly about one of Frost's poems. The poet deftly reoriented the conversation by smiling and saying something like, "Poets get credit for anything good you get from their poems." Frost is also quoted as saying, "Poetry is the only acceptable way to say one thing and mean another." He might have extended that to say, "Poets create pictures, the surface truth of which is easy to see, in order to ease us into seeing deeper truths that might be too veiled or intimidating directly seen." Emily Dickinson put it straightforwardly, "Tell the truth, but tell it slant." She particularly recommended such a way regarding what Maya Angelou called brave and startling truth. Robert Frost has a poem that tells, I think, the simple but challenging, brave and startling truth about how to fulfill human possibility. I want to share it with you because, as I heard a speaker say recently, the most important thing is to remember the most important thing. That is surprisingly hard to do a lot of the time. But having simple reminders can be a big help, as our Wednesday discussions on life rituals has been revealing to us. And Frost's poem is simple, only 6 lines long, 2 of which are duplicates, easy to remember when he talks about the most important thing. This poem isn't included in any reviewer's top 10 Robert Frost poems as far as I could find. But it is the frontispiece poem in Frost's collected works, set pointedly before and separate from his other many poems, all otherwise arranged in the chronological order of their publication. So I presume that he considered this poem his masterpiece, his most important poem as to message, and perhaps his most perfect poem as to craft. The poem is called The Pasture, a pastoral, almost nostalgic word, evocative itself of a time of blessing, a place of blessing. I wonder if you felt that when it was read this morning. Imagine a farmer speaking to a child or spouse or friend. "I'm going out to clean the pasture spring. I'll only stop to watch the water clear. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away and wait to watch the water clear, I may. I shan't be gone long. You come too." Cleaning the pasture spring, a simple but essential chore for the health and beauty of the field and its creatures. And more beautiful still for those able to take a moment to watch the water cleared free and flowing full and clear. Imagine farmer and child together. Farmer and farmer, spouse and spouse, learning, appreciating, watching the fundamental guarantee of life, and life so gratefully lived together. And might this image suggest that cleaning the springs of mind and consciousness is an essential chore for the health and beauty of your spirit? The soul as spring, the spirit as spurting, flowing stream of life. I'm going out to clean my soul. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away and wait to watch the spirit clear, I may. Watching your mind and senses clear, coming to. And how good to have companions along, child, spouse, neighbors, or friends, or perhaps Christopher Robin adventuring with you over 100 acres of woods and pasture and garden, or Christine, whose world, constrained to a pasture home, is unconstrained in grace, as is yours. Indeed, how can we see all that needs clearing in the pasture of our life? Looking for my place here. Without the eyes, how can we see clearly in the pasture of our life? Without the eyes of companions, looking from all perspectives. To seek to attain clarity, purity of spirit, makes it essential that others come too, so you may come too. And what would you and your companions do in the field of life if the Angelus told from the church in the town just about now? And now imagine the farmer turning from spring to pasture saying, I'm going out to fetch the little calf that's standing with its mother. It's so young it totters when she licks it with her tongue. I shan't be gone long. You come too. The loving power of the mother is so great it might knock the newborn over if there is not some assistance. Perhaps the calf would like some water or some mash if the mother's milk is short or hasn't come in yet. Or maybe it is vaccination time for the baby calf. Or maybe sun is setting quickly and the barn is a long hike for a little one. Yes, farmer, I'm grateful I've come with you, because tending and keeping the garden and all the creatures is a lot of straining, lonely work if you have to do it by yourself. And might this image suggest that going out to help life thrive, especially when it is most tender and eager and open to growth, is also the other essential chore for the health and beauty of your spirit and its environment, protecting the great mother of creation and all of her children so life may be sustained and so your spirit may thrive with purpose and fulfillment and even joy and bliss. A strong mind, free of accumulated rubbish, flowing clearly along, enhancing life. Therein we learn, we help, we feel bliss, especially when done with others. It's so simple. My morning meditation helps me remember. My Van Gogh painting of the Waymenders helps me remember. My 2 pieces of sea glass that I rub together in my pocket help me remember. The poet has taken us on a tour of the flow of grace in the pastures of life and taught us the way to its fulfillment in 2 simple stanzas, in 6 lines, easy to remember. 6 lines containing how to fulfill Maya Angelou's brave and startling truth of the boundless freedom of the spirit within the hard bounds of the fields of life. If only we'll come to it, says Maya Angelou. If only we'll come to, says Robert Frost. So may we all.
Remember our connection to one another, and let us not forget our offerings to support the means for those connections. As you listen to our brief offertory, please click the I in the upper right-hand corner of your screen to make a contribution. You can also donate either via the Give Plus app or on our webpage under the Giving tab, or by sending a check to our church office. Many thanks.
Everybody for being here this morning. Please stay safe and well through the week. We hope you can join us right after the service for a coffee hour at the Zoom address coming up shortly on your screen. And if you send Sarah Craig an email reservation at the address in our newsletter, you can watch the service again at 4 o'clock in our back picnic area on large screen TV, along with other real live masked and socially distanced people.
Now as your service ends, with a breath, we pass the flame of our chalice lamp to each other as we say together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth,
This warmth of love, or
the
fire
fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.
Our service is coming to an end. As a benediction or closing words, I would like to share a third closing stanza to Robert Frost's The Pasture, which I just discovered in the Robert Frost file of my imagination. It goes like this. I'm taking calf and mother in tonight. The foxes or a freeze would do them harm. It's worth our while to keep them safe and warm. I shan't be gone long. You come too. May we always remember that which is the most important thing to remember. And may you come to a most memorable week. Hope to see you at coffee hour.